Well, hello guys. Welcome back to the channel, getting hit in the head with the obvious. Sorry I haven't been here, but I've been having a lot of paranormal activity lately, and at first I thought, I was writing it all off to like coincidence and everything else, and then I was like, well, maybe something's going on here. Well, I didn't tell you about those voices I heard late at night. It was an accent that hasn't been used in this country for about 50 years at least. Believe it's called transatlantic. It's what they used to speak in movies, and it's not from anywhere really. You could almost think it's from some Ivy League college, but it's really from nowhere really. It's like a mixture of the British accent and I think New England, and it was meant to sound, neutral, so it didn't sound like it was from any one area. And so that was weird, because nobody around here speaks like that. Nobody spoke like that for at least 50 years, unless they're an actor or something. And then I was having a lot of things happen. Numbers were coming up, and, I looked at an altar for a certain god, and it was like, okay, and I did some research, and I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. I don't know if I want you to come in or not. And I kept looking at Loki because I'm like, Loki will get me out of this. And we were dithering around and not really doing anything. And, Loki will kind of cut me more slack than he should at times. And Loki's like, okay, if you don't want to work with them, okay. And that's when all hell broke loose. Loki knows what I'm talking about. I started to find my front door open. Luckily, the other part was locked. Or if I would go out, I would come back to find that part open. And it was like someone in particular was saying, no, we're doing this. I'm coming in. And I've actually been like looking through eBay, trying to get a sense of like, do you want me to hang a sign? And it turns out I actually have a lot of his signs. Sorry, burning incense. On the house already, and it was something else, because I'd never heard of this particular god losing his temper. And Loki and I were just kind of looking at each other, and we're kind of like, what's going on? And he's in, and the weird thing I can think about is when I let go of the other channel, and I ended up like dyeing my hair and getting all this done. I went out today and I got it cut. And the weird thing was I was having trouble communicating, and then it was super easy. And stumbling block was like, I grew up so isolated. You think you're the only one that knows these gods. And then I saw, they're Hellenistic people, and they all have like altars to this god. And I'm like, well, it doesn't need me. So I was going off my merry way with Loki. I'm like, Loki's kind of the underdog. I'm just going to devote all my time to Loki, and I'm not going to deal with these gods. Yeah, I made promises, but, they'll be here for a hot minute, and then they're gone. And I kind of like as much stability in my life as possible. I don't like to start working with a god, and then like within 2 weeks they vanish. So I was kind of like, no. And last night I had a weird thing. I'm sorry, it's like the 5th time I recorded this, so I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself. It was like light possession, and I was just like going off and around. Which kind of did make sense for this god, what they were so angry about, because I thought it was my anger. But then, like, this morning when I woke up, I'm like, you know what? I really don't care, because I saw this coming from a long way away. And I don't care, and I'm not surprised, and that's the way of the world. I wouldn't be surprised. And it was weird, because Loki and I have been looking at each other, like, all day, like, is he in? Yeah, he's in. Loki's very brave. He ran as fast as I did. We all, like, scattered like the wind, because nobody had seen a god step up like this and sent him work to hit somebody with a 220 line. So everybody scattered, because yeah, they'll do like mild things, and Loki will do dramatic things with the lights and everything. But this is mine. I'm staying. You're not keeping me out. Because Loki's like trying to work through it with me, and we were both puzzled, and we're both like, Okay, what do you feel when the doors open? I don't know. Am I supposed to go outside? He's like, it's night. You're not going outside. Are you nuts? Yeah, but what's out there? I don't know. It doesn't matter. We'll see it in the morning. Well, it might be something I can only see at night. Good. See it at night. See it through the window. Don't go out. So, like, you know, because we both have that foxy personality of, something's going wrong. I ain't sticking my nose out there. So we were going out and we were misreading the sign, both of us. And it was funny that we were both misreading the sign, because I think what happened is when Loki was like, okay, yeah, I knew you wouldn't do the work. You just work with me. That's fine. Um, I've never seen a god not take no for an answer before, at least this way. Lasanta was just persistent. She will wear you down. Ogu will be persistent, wear you down. Most are persistent and wear you down. Most don't scare the ever living Hades out of you. Sorry, Hades, but you know, making booming sounds, because there would be these booming sounds and it would sound like there was a bar fight down here. And I'm looking at Loki like, did we get a poltergeist? And he's like, I'm right here. Don't look at me. So, whew, long story short, Hermes is in and installed. Apparently, when I call him Mercury, he's deaf in both ears. But when I address him as Hermes, he can hear me just fine. And it was really intense, because I was remembering all the stuff from my childhood, and I was really concerned because I was going up to Loki. Because you know how they've done those pieces about how we don't have memories at all, we just think we do? I said, Loki, I'm just remembering way too much stuff. I must be, making stuff up at this point. And he's like, no, you're not making stuff up. You're remembering this, because, he's very truthful, unfortunately. And if he thought you were making stuff up or play acting or like going nuts, he would be very kind and tell you. And so we have a candle now, and I actually ordered food tonight, and I, made libation to Hermes, and, lit the incense, and I got a candle up. I've got it up on Facebook and DeviantArt. So we're kind of changing our plans for tomorrow around. Why he picked now, I don't know. It's not May. It wasn't the 4th of the month. It wasn't anytime sacred to him, but he decided he wanted in. He wanted in now. So, and yeah, I didn't think of it. I even wear like twin snakes. So like, I am just gifted with stupid. And he was like, you have my symbols all over this house. And sometimes he has the twin snakes. Sometimes people will say he just has holding one snake and feathers. And I like have all crow feathers all over the place. But then I saw an altar to Hermes with crow feathers on it. And I almost fell over. And they said they should be white. And I realized like some stuff I'd made for Apollo actually belonged to Hermes. And it was strange. It was very, very strange. And I was like trying to calm him down, and I was like showing him stuff on eBay, and I'm like seriously like trying to calm him down. And as soon as he got in, he seems calm, but he also seems kind of mad, because he's got the classic Gemini temper of I can be mad at you forever as long as I think about it. And I had this weird experience as I was working with him where usually when I'm working with him, I'll vision like we're like in a temple, but it's set up almost like a sundial, and it's overlooking the sea. And I'll have my head resting, he'll have his cross-legged, and I'll like have my head like on his knee or something. And he'll be talking to me. As he's talking to me, he's like stroking my head and like braiding my hair. And it's, very kind and very gentle, and I'll feel this warmth. Like this warmth and this golden delicious glow from him, and I'll just close my eyes and I'll relax, because he's the one that taught me to do this trick with lights and stuff. Not like make lights explode, but like treat it like almost like sunlight or something. And so I was getting really confused. I was like, is this Hermes? Is this Apollo? But it was not Apollo. And then I found out, Hermes also had a fire association. he had all these complex associations, like he used to be a god of the earth before they made him anything else, and he's a god of fertility, and he's a god of fire. And is this starting to sound familiar? He's a god of trickery and deceptions and lies, and he has a festival May 20th where male members of Greek society would go around going, "Ear, ear, ear." Yeah, he's the god you can't talk about on YouTube. Well, yeah, you can, because considering the person, they won't fire because so many people's jobs will be affected. I'm going to talk about Hermes. So yeah, yes, he's the patron of thieves. Conversely, he can also help you catch thieves. So he can help you find stolen goods. So he's got the very dual nature to him, which is why I think people are kind of afraid of and don't trust him. But, you know, it depends. I think it depends on what side of the law you're on, and whether your thievery or your reclaiming pleases him. He is a complex god, and they said, you know, as in the messenger of the gods, he can screw up the communication. He can change words on purpose and be like, oh, did I do that? I did that. I did. I'm so sorry. So yeah, it's been very interesting because you know, I've been reading the novels, and at first I was discounting absolutely everything as just the novels and my imagination talking to me. But no, it's been him. I don't know why he prefers being addressed by his Greek name. That's just him being him, I guess. It was weird because a lot of the altars I saw from him way back when I was tiny witchlet and I didn't know any better. That was like the instinctive altar style I went to, and he's always had like a blue stripe along the bottom of, you know, the whatever he wears. And so, like, when I made the candle, I made it in 2 tones of blue. Now, people are probably going to be yelling, yeah, but he doesn't have a heart. I'm like, I don't care. It's going to be Valentine's Day, and I'm not pissing off Eros either. So, yeah, we're going to have a very different thing than we were going to. And I'm, like, apologizing profusely to Loki because our plan was to have kind of like a festival to him and kind of like have like everything for him. And with Hermes and him being the god of hospitality and some of the things he got out of me, it's like I can't piss off any of the Greek gods at this point. If they want to come in and be feasted on a day, guess what I get to do? So maybe that's why they sent him in. He's also, you know, the more research I did, he's also a fighter, so that explains why he can, you know, muscle his way into somewhere. And he also rules over doors. He rules over doorways, so any doorway. And I kept begging him. I was like, please let me put your symbol up on the house. He's like, my symbols are all over. And I've never seen Loki just back off of another god like that before. He usually won't interfere with Lysanta, but anyone else he feels free to be lippy with. But with Hermes, he kind of backed off. I think they really do like and respect each other. But, you know, it's really easy to discount Hermes or Mercury as, you know, like we use them in our culture as little mascots of like tires and flowers and little errand boys and stuff like that. But that's just like one little teeny tiny aspect of being a messenger. And messengers are vital because if you didn't have someone to carry the message, and to carry the technology to carry the message, you would be lost. So you need to behooves you to be on the great good side of the messenger god. And Loki's a messenger as well. And when Loki was, you know, we'd known about this, but when Loki's reading about screwing up the messages, he's like, oh, I like him. I'm like, you know him. He's like, no, I don't. It's like that lie that you know he's lying. Like, no, I don't. And that real innocent look too. Like, you know he's lying to you, but there's nothing you can do because he's Loki. And what are you gonna do about it? Because he'll say to me very sweetly, "Would you like me to burn your house down?" No. So now I have 2 psychotic gods of fire, and I say that very lovingly. I never knew Hermes had that kind of temper on him. I'm impressed. I'm impressed. And it was just, you know, Dionysus was like giving me a kind of like a, not like a vision, but I like saw as I was waking up that Dionysus was standing by my side, holding my hand and comforting me and saying, we've got this, because he's actually the one around here that's like the even-tempered one. And they all manifest differently with different people, but Dionysus is the one around here that keeps everyone else grounded. Where Apollo, I love him very much, but he can be very moody. Zeus and Poseidon usually have nothing to do with me, and, you know, Athena's she can restore order as well, but with Mercury, it looks like, I have no idea. And I have no idea why he showed up now, and he showed me the things he did, but I'm glad he's here. And I got more important things to worry about than what's going on the YouTube. So if I seem kind of like crazy or kind of like distant, it was like he did like this form of mild, almost like mild possession on me last night. And Loki's been telling me recently, especially on Facebook, keep your mouth shut. Don't you talk to anyone. Don't you say your opinion on anything. And if you have a god coming real close, you usually shouldn't, because everything you say is going to be distorted and come out wrong. Especially if you're working like with a god of communication. Anytime I work heavily with Lakebot, I say some of these stupidest shit, and I piss people off, and they ain't never talking to me again. And Lakebot just stands there and smiles, and then Aishu joins in. So yeah, I do work heavily with what people would call trickster deities, but they're also culture heroes. They're usually bringers of fire and invention and technology. So I'm happy he's here. It's just, he's usually so calm and so gentle, you wouldn't know he had that in him rather. It was like if you had a tiny little kitten that you always petted, and the tiny little kitten always brought you cute gifts. And one day the tiny little kitten changes into a weird tiger and smashes down your door and is looking at you hungry for meat. It was kind of like that. And that's a bad analogy, but that's what came to mind. And then like I got a couple videos recently like scolding me about where have you been and why aren't you talking to me and da 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 and everything about communication. I'm like, okay. And it was actually, looking back on it, it was awesome. I've never seen God scatter like that before, except for when Santa Muerte's going to lose it and she's deaf. So, you know, when the Queen of Underworld is going to lose it, everybody runs. But, you know, Hermes, traditionally, he wouldn't be a god people would be terrified of, even though he protected boundaries and crossroads and everything. You wouldn't normally think of people being terrified of him, but they were... everybody scattered, including me, so, you know, but it's awesome. He's a god of gambling, god of thieves, god who invented self-gratification. He's like the awesome god. We'll party with Dionysus, is pretty much down for anything, but he also has a sense of fair play, and he does have a sense of justice, and he didn't do anything to hurt me. He just did something to throw a scare into me, and he didn't yell. He didn't have to yell. He just, you know, he just had to open a door, and you watch those ghost stories, and you're like, these people are a bunch of wusses. I have doors open all the time. They're scared. They're a bunch of wusses. It was something about the energy with it. That's the only thing I can tell you. It was cold, like there was something out there you couldn't see. And then I found out that even though I've seen it attributed to Hades, Hermes also has a cap of invisibility. Or darkness, or whatever you want to call it, like Helm of Darkness or whatever. And I'm like, that's great. That's just wonderful. He's not only trickster, but he's invisible trickster. That's great. And which means that if it works the same way that Hades cap does, he can melt through things and like be a shadow and be hidden in the shadows, and not even the gods can see him. I'm like, why? But I'm okay. I'm okay. It was a little scary. It was a little intense, but I'm okay. I swear, when I quit that channel and I like colored my hair, I swear it triggered something. I swear he finally triggered, but like, I don't know if I told you this time. I've got 4 piercings in each ear, and they say his number is 4, because his holy day of the month is 4, and like his holy month is May, named for his mother. And I think I've told you guys all this before, and like, his festival was May 20th, and I was born on the 24th. 4 days after his festival. So there you go. Yeah, kind of scary. And I don't know, he might be here for, just for his due offering and then not be here for a while, but we made sure to make him and the others feel welcome. We had already welcomed him and the others, so I wasn't sure what this was about, but this was definitely something intense. So if you guys like what you see, like, comment, subscribe. Provided nothing else exciting happens, I hope to get back to a daily schedule. It's been weird and intense. So I will see you guys later. Bye bye.